Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm Mandi, author of 10 young adult novels so far. I have been in the habit of reading one book on writing craft every single month. Did not do August, but it's fine. August was a terrible month. Everything sucked about it, and we're just pretending it didn't exist. I have wiped August off of the calendar, so it doesn't matter. I did kind of read books already in September, but not really. So there is a reading vlog-ish of that, which is not a good vlog editing-wise. I was sick when I was filming it and editing it, and I ended up not putting music behind the bits where I'm like turning pages and reading and whatever, so you're just silently watching me turn pages. It's no good. It's no good. Anyway, you can watch it if you want to, but I don't really suggest it. And now we are doing the quote-unquote real book of September. Well, not this one. That's already been read, but I've run out of space on the red half of the shelf. Anyway, this is my stack. Also this, but I don't plan on doing videos of these because they're too simple. I might change my mind at some point and like do all of them in one video and just call it good. But I don't plan to. So, this is the options. What do we want to do? They all look so large. I don't have time for this. What if we do one of these? How do we feel about starting with the 8th grade Smarts? My sister recommended this book because she went to a conference and listened to the author talk, and it was like a wildly meaningful experience for her. And then at the convention that I go to every year where I sell my books, the author was there too, and I listened to her speak, and it was a wildly meaningful experience for me as well. I cried. Anyway, so then I bought all of her books. But that was in May, and I have yet to read them, so yeah, maybe we'll just start that. Came with this cute bookmark that has the 8 smarts on it, I guess. I don't know yet because I haven't read the book, but I'm going to take a guess and say I'm probably people smart or self smart or word. Okay, I'm an author, so maybe word smart, but it's about how you learn, right? How you I don't know. We'll discuss this more in depth as I start to read it. So it opened with like a description of 2 girls like dancing and being creative or whatever. And then it goes into the explanation, which is really good, and I can't summarize, so I'm going to read it. Before knowing about multiple intelligences, I would have written the previous section about 2 girls who were creative and musical. I would have called them talented. I'm grateful for Dr. Howard Gardner's research and the beautiful reality that Rachel and Abby are creative, musical, and talented because they are smart. What's the big deal? Smart is a power word. Everyone wants to be smart. As I'll write about in later chapters, if some children believe others are smart and they're not, they can give up. They lower their expectations for today and tomorrow. They may not accomplish what God intended them to. This is also true of adults. Language is powerful. Words matter. I love the freedom of thinking about children and adults through the grid of multiple intelligences. I've met many adults who didn't have the opportunity for much post-high school education. My mom was one of these, although she was extremely bright. She doubted it, at least somewhat, because she didn't have the traditional proof. My mom could remember significant details from the news and analyze them carefully. She co-led several very successful political campaigns for her father. She sang in tune and had a great appreciation for classical music. She had 2 green thumbs and made our home beautiful. She wrote and spelled well and served on various committees because of these abilities. She was a trusted friend to many and could work a room of complete strangers as well as her father, the gifted politician. My mom was smart. Multiple intelligences allow us to look beyond old proofs of grades and degrees to see the evidence of smarts in life. I'm so excited to get into this. So this is the 8 intelligences she's talking about. It started with Dr. Gardner's work, the bar in the middle there, back in the 80s, before I was born. Yeah, I guess he did the first research, and then Dr. Armstrong came along and did more, or, like, less wordy. We went from linguistic intelligence to word smart. Anyway, looking at this, I feel like self-smart applies to me, the reflection. Maybe people smart. And probably definitely word smart, like 100%. I think the point is that you have all 8, but you're, you know, probably naturally more gifted in areas, or like, certain areas were, I guess, used and trained in childhood, so that's what you fall into. I'm assuming as we read this book, she's going to talk about, ways that you can, like, lean into all 8. But I do think it's going to be a bit like, the Enneagram, in the sense that you have an Enneagram type, period. But also the point is that you can lean into, like, all of the various things. Like, you have your wings on either side, and then you have growth and, digression, which we don't want to get into, which is completely different. Like, you're connected to all of the numbers on the Enneagram. You just have one that is more naturally you, if that makes sense. And, like, the healthier you become as a human being, the more you're able to tap into other areas of the Enneagram. So that's sort of how I'm approaching the 8 great smarts. Like, there's probably one that's like, this is my natural state of existence, but, like, also the rest are up there somewhere. Intelligence isn't fixed, and it's not narrow. It's very wide and all-encompassing. God was generous when he created us as he did. I'm just gonna read the whole book aloud, you guys. I'm just gonna read it all. When children know how they are smart, they can discern who is smart in the same ways, and they can recognize who has smart strengths that they don't have that they benefit from. They can choose to go for a walk in the park when dating someone who is nature smart, visit an art museum with someone who is picture smart, and expect deep conversations with someone who is self-smart. Knowing about the smarts can strengthen relationships. I really am just going to read the whole book. I'm going to have to cut this way down, you guys. Okay, slight correction, I think. Based on this chart that says, you know, think with words, think with pictures, I would assume that I think with words, not pictures. So I labeled myself word smart, probably. Also like self-smart and other things, but I expected to be word smart, not picture smart. However, because I haven't gotten, there's a lot of build-up here, and I haven't actually gotten to the definitions. Like, she hasn't explained any of the smarts yet. But in the midst of all these examples and things, she says, she's talking about school subjects, like the easier ones naturally align with your natural smarts, which makes sense. But she said, for example, history, fiction, and creative writing are related to being picture smart. Period. And I was like, that sentence describes me, so I guess I'm picture smart. I don't mind being picture smart. I definitely need to get to the part where she actually describes the smarts themselves, because right now the terms aren't, like, lining up in my brain to make sense. I'm not crazy about being word smart. I thought when I picked up the book I was word smart. I got confused by that one sentence about creative writing and history and something else in the, like, relation to picture smart, and I was like, but okay, I guess I'm picture smart. These things aren't mutually exclusive. It's entirely possible that I am word smart and picture smart at the top, you know, those are my strengths. So yeah, I may very well be both, but I'm reading the word smart chapter, and I've been highlighting everything, like the attributes of it, I guess, so that I can judge if I have them or not, essentially. There's also a lot of helpful stuff in this chapter about how to teach kids who are word smart, or different, like, ways that you can engage them. So that's all super interesting and very helpful. But specifically on the, like, what word smart people do. I don't sound very word smart when I talk like that. Anyway, let me open this up, because I was highlighting things, so I need to find all my blue happiness. Word-smart children think with words. When they're excited, they almost always talk. They need time to read, and they need to be heard when they want an audience. They get joy from using exactly the right word at the right time. Their power is language. Let's do this. They write willingly and well and read in their spare time for information and or enjoyment. That doesn't sound like me at all. They handle most textbooks and assignments successfully, often being able to remember details. They have a large vocabulary, and they speak confidently and can listen accurately. They tend to be well-informed and often want to share their opinions and ideas with others. I don't know that I'm well-informed, quote-unquote, but school was rarely difficult, so on the handling textbooks and assignment situations, like, yeah. Also, I'm a fantastic listener. Sound a little narcissistic, but it's true, I am a great listener. And while I don't know that I'm well-informed per se, I do like sharing my opinions and ideas with others. I like talking with people, and I also, you know, have this YouTube channel where I just talk. So, that checks out. Most word-smart children enjoy school and do well there. I would say yes, I love school. I loved school when I was growing up and being homeschooled. I loved school when I was in college. School's a blast. I kind of miss school sometimes. Maybe that's why I make myself read a professional development and or writing craft book every single month. Like, I need to be learning. Anyway, most word-smart children are good at explaining things. This one does not apply to me. Nope, can't do it. The few examples I have off the top of my head about trying to explain things is, like, with my writing. I often have people ask me, like, how I do what I do or why I'm doing it, and I'm like, I just do it. It's instinctual. What do you want me to say? And then there was also, back in high school, I was on a softball team, and I was pitcher, and I was decently good. But when I was at the top age for the team, I was about to, like, leave. It was my last year or something, or my last 2 years, I don't know. There was a younger girl that Coach put under my wing to, like, teach her what I was doing so that when I left they would still have a decent pitcher. And I could not teach her. I could not explain what I was doing with words. I could not. So what I ended up doing was just showing her. Like, I would pitch and I would try to slow myself down intentionally, walking through the motions in slow motion so that she could see what I was doing. But I could not explain it with words, so that one's not me. Yeah. That's basically that. Other than the explaining thing, like, I feel like they did all apply, and, like, everything else in the chapter about ways to, like, help word-smart children in school or doing whatever, like, all of that was like, yes, this is me. I feel slightly validated because I was a little confused by the picture smart thing. That confused me, but also it's entirely possible when I get to the picture smart chapter that I'll be like, oh no, this all applies too. So, you know, because, you know, you're supposed to, you technically, like, you have access to all 8 of them. There's just certain ones that are strengths and certain ones that are weaknesses. So, anyway, whatever. I'm gonna keep reading now. I finished the Logic Smart chapter, underlined things again, in order to, like, judge if I had the characteristics, I guess. I don't think I do. A little bit, just because, like, everyone has all 8 smarts in some capacity, but, like, no. I don't think in questions, I don't problem solve, no, this was not me. In some regards, maybe, because she talks about how logic smart children typically enjoy things like math and science and things that make sense. And I feel like when I was a kid, I had, like, more interest that aligned with the logic smart. Because, like, I loved chemistry because it's basically math and it all made sense. It all lined up. But I was never particularly, like, good at math. in science. I just kind of like enjoyed pieces of it, I guess. Anyone who's been on my channel for any amount of time should know I'm terrible at math. I do math on this channel all the time, and I'm always wrong. Yeah, but also just she was talking a lot about how they're always asking questions because they want to understand how things work and what they mean, whatever, and I don't really do the asking of the questions. I have a niece who is what I would say very logic smart. She just questions all the time about everything. She needs to understand how the world works. I don't feel that. I don't. But yeah, it was fascinating. We're moving on to the next one, which is picture smart, which I'm interested in, because I think I am picture smart, but also I've been having this whole, like, word smart, picture smart debate since we started this video, as you know. So I'm curious to see how much I relate to. Like, which one of these strengths is stronger, I guess. Okay, finished the picture smart chapter. I'm still flip-flopping on this one. I think I am. I think it is one of my strengths, question mark? I don't know. So, picture smart children think with pictures. The movie in my brain, like, literally never stops, so that makes sense to me. But then so much of it is about, like, being artistic and creative, which is not something I have ever excelled in. It's something I've always wanted. Like, I've always been jealous of other people who can do the things I wish I could do. But I'm not artistic. I like art. I color in, like, adult coloring books where the the drawing's already there. I don't have to make it. I just color in the lines. And like, I do my bullet journal, but with stickers because someone else already did the art. Like, I like art, but I'm not necessarily what I would call artistic. So I feel like I have some picture smartness, but it's maybe not as strong as I think it is, or it's stronger than I think it is, and I'm, like, downplaying the picture smart things that I do. I don't know. I can't decide, to be honest. Anyway, children with picture smart strengths pay attention to and think with visuals in books, such as pictures, diagrams, maps, charts, illustrations. This is very true of me. They notice and think with things in their environment. They visualize things in their mind. That I can do. She talks about the movie in the mind. That's me. 100%. Moving never stops. Children with picture smart strengths probably enjoy creative writing, fiction, and history. That's 100% true. But all of the things about being artsy and craftsy and whatnot is like, that's not me. That's not. It's just, I like to think it could be, but it's not. Also this, because their visual strengths allow them to see details, they may become critical and negative, eager to point out visual mistakes in someone else's stuff. Yeah, that tends to happen to me. One thing she did say that I took issue with, which is a personal pet peeve of mine, so she talks about the smarts, like psychologically, what they are, what's happening in your brain. But then, because she's writing about it from a Christian perspective, she also discusses, like, ways that you can use it to deepen relationship with Jesus. If you're picture smart, if you're logic smart, if you're whatever, like, these are different ways that you can read the Bible and relate to, I don't know. Anyway, she's just talking about all that stuff, which is fine. I love it. But she specifically said for picture smart people, I can't believe this, to read. And she called it, I need to find it, she called it a translation, which just got me. Doing this one-handed is painful. There it is. Reading a Bible translation. Like The Message, that reads more naturally than other translations, may motivate and help picture-smart children become more interested in and more mature in their faith. I take issue with this, A, because The Message is not a translation of the Bible, it's a paraphrase. And second, I take issue with it because I despise The Message. I would never suggest to anyone that they read The Message if they were going to read a Bible. nope. I really, really, really dislike that particular version, quote unquote, of the Bible. Mainly because it's not a translation of the, like, Greek and Hebrew, whatever. It's just one man's paraphrase. And I hate that she calls it a translation here, and I also hate that she's suggesting it for anyone to read, because I don't think anyone ever should. She also suggests the Amplified Bible, which I don't have any issues with, other than, like, when I read it, I think it's very clunky and entertaining in the way that it reads, because it's like utter nonsense, but I don't have any problem with people reading it. I'm just gonna read the verse that she has here so you can hear what the Amplified sounds like. Blessed, happy, fortunate, prosperous, and enviable is the man who walks and lives not in the counsel of the ungodly, following their advice. Hold on, I gotta turn the page. Their plans and purposes, nor stands, submissive and inactive, in the path where sinners walk, nor sits down to relax and rest, where the scornful and the mockers gather. But his delight and desire are in the law of the Lord, and on his law, the precepts, the instructions, the teachings of God, he habitually meditates, ponders, and studies by day and by night. It's like literally a thesaurus. The whole verse, every verse of the entire Bible is a thesaurus, and it cracks me up to read it, but I would not personally use it for study because I think it's so clunky and disturbing. It's hard to get through. It doesn't help me. I'm like, yes, I knew that's what that word meant. But anyway, like, on a, like, translation integrity sort of level, I have nothing against the Amplified. I despise the message. I put a sad face. Because I've been highlighting, like, things as I've been going. I've been marking it, you know, marking the book. Look at this. I put a sad face next to the reading a Bible translation, like the message. Cranky. I'm moving on to Music Smart now, which I think I have like a smidgen of, but I would not say that I am music smart per se. Finished the Music Smart situation. I would say I have some music smarts, but not like the smartest music smarts. She talks about there being a hierarchy in each smart, like some people have more of the smart than other people, which makes sense. I love music. I play a couple of instruments. I really enjoy playing piano specifically. Sometimes I pull out the flute just for fun, but I didn't have as many years of lessons with that, so I don't actually know it very well, so it's not as much fun because I'm like, how does this even work? But I love sitting down and just like tinkering on the piano. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily talented at it per se, but my college piano instructor did try to convince me to switch over to being a music major. Tried for a whole year to convince me to switch over. So I would say I must have something in the musical department of smarts because my instructor saw some sort of potential there, but I did not want to do that, so I did not. Also, I wouldn't say like I'm super musically inclined. I'm not like, I don't know, gifted or a prodigy or anything with music. I just enjoy it. And like I specifically listen to songs while I'm writing. I like to pick out playlists to listen to. I listen to a lot of Two Steps from Hell because it's very like epic, I don't know, soundtrack. Like when I'm writing my fantasy series, I need the epic like movie soundtrack playing in my ears. Anyway, I did love music, and also when I'm by myself and I'm not around humans who make me anxious, I am constantly moving when I hear music. I wouldn't call it dancing per se. When we get to the body smart, I imagine I will not be body smart at all. But the music side of things, I am always dancing around when I'm alone in my bedroom. Because when I hear the music, I feel it, and then I have to express that in some fashion. But yeah, I don't think I'm body smart because I have no rhythm, and it's not really what one might call dancing. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, the end of all that was I do think I have some music smarts. Don't think I'm super music smart, however. I didn't think I was super picture smart either, and I'm definitely not logic smart, which leaves me so far with like 1 strength smart. This is not gonna end well. I'm gonna have 1, which is fine. I'm not 1 like at none of the others, 1 in like a little bit of the others. I take it all back. I am very body smart. Hold on, let me open the chapter so I can read all the things I was underlining, because there were a lot of things. Body smart. The main thing is that you think, you know, with your body. Yeah. So I wildly talk with my hands, and also I pace, like, all of the time. When my brain is working, I'm pacing. I pace when I'm thinking, I pace when I'm reading, sometimes I pace when I'm writing, like, I have to be moving. Yeah. Body smart children think with movement and touch. When they're excited, they move more. They need freedom and sometimes lots of space to move productively. Motion is their power. When being body smart, children learn and think with their entire bodies. Their hands are busy talking, building, writing, touching, twisting hair, playing, etc. Their feet are busy tapping, shifting in place, or walking. So I pace all the time, but also I have the, like, the shaky foot syndrome, or I don't remember what my mother called it. I am constantly tapping my feet. Moving on. Body smart children are often moving, sometimes purposefully and intentionally, and sometimes not. I also do this thing, I don't know if this is body smart per se, or if this is like on the autistic spectrum somewhere, I don't know, but I do this thing where I rock, like, anytime I am sitting, I am not sitting still. I'm either rocking slightly forward or like in this motion, because it's very comforting to me. Especially if I'm doing something, so if I'm no longer conscious of my body, if I'm reading, if I'm writing, if I'm like sitting on my bed watching a TV show on my computer, yeah, if my brain is actively engaged in something else, my body is moving. even when I'm not aware of it. Which sometimes makes time lapses on my vlogs, like if I try to time lapse me reading or writing or something, it makes it a little awkward, because if you speed me up when I'm doing this, it starts to look a little aggressive. Anyway. Being in motion is like breathing to body smart children. This is so true. She talks about large motor tasks and abilities, and then small motor ones, and how some body smart children have one or the other, and some have both, and yada yada. In one of her lists for the finer small motor, what she calls them small motor, yeah, in one of her lists of different things that might include was typing, which I highlighted just because I type all the time. I don't know that that's related to me being body smart. I mean, it could be. I'm using my fingers. But I also feel like that's very related to my word smart, like, picture smart storytelling thing. Anyway, what else did I underline? Oh, they can learn sign language. They can interpret for the deaf. I don't interpret, but I love sign language. It is the most beautiful language ever created. I love it. I love learning it. I need to get back into doing my lessons. Oh gosh, I love sign language. Oh gosh. She also talks a lot about athletics. I did really enjoy playing sports growing up. Played volleyball. That was a blast. I never had more fun doing sports than on my volleyball team. We were great. I don't think we were skilled at all. We sucked, but we had a blast. Yeah, that was a highlight of my youth. Also played softball every single summer. That was always fun. Soccer was a good time. Maybe not my favorite sport, but it was a good time. Yeah, sports are good. We like sports. Oh, moving causes thinking, and the thinking isn't even related to the movement. That happens to me all the time. If I am doing dishes, or if I am taking a shower, or like literally if I am doing something, my brain is active and like going crazy, which honestly, like, I would have said before reading this chapter, I would have thought that that was just normal for everybody. Like, we all think about things when we're doing other things, right? Like, everybody does that, don't they? I feel like they do. I don't know. But she talks about herself being body smart, and that, like, when she's biking or lifting weights or doing other things, that her brain activates and she thinks of things to, like, write in her books or on her blog or whatever, which happens to me all the time when I'm being active with my body, but I genuinely would have thought that that's just a thing that occurs to everybody. Maybe it's not. I don't know. If this doesn't happen for you, let me know in the comments. They'll have the freedom to pace and study, go sit outside for a while. She's talking about the homeschooling slash homework, if you're not homeschooled, aspect of body smart children, like how to raise body smart children. And she suggests letting them wander. The freedom to pace and study, go sit outside for a while, sprawl out on the floor in the den where they can freely kick their legs in the air. Yeah, pacing and studying, major component of mine. Also, definitely the floor. Love the floor, because then you can constantly be, like, switching position. Like, sometimes you're laying down, and sometimes you're standing up, and sometimes you're sitting, and sometimes you're sitting cross-legged, and sometimes you're sitting with your legs, like, straight out, and then you could, like, perch on the floor. Anyway, it's a whole thing. They may also benefit from reading and studying in rocking chairs. I love that. Was there anything else that I underlined? I don't think so. I think that was the last thing. Basically, what I'm saying is, oh, actually, there was one more thing I underlined. Body smart children should be encouraged to trust their gut reactions and their physical responses. Anyway, I don't really have anything to say about that, but I liked it, so I highlighted it. Basically, yes, I'm extremely body smart. That's what I would say. It's one of my strengths. One of the, just like I was born naturally with this one. Yeah, 100%. I'm not, body smart in the, like, dancing like I was talking about earlier. Cannot. Have no rhythm. And I'm not body smart in, like, being good at athletics. I loved athletics. I loved playing sports. Loved it. It was a blast. I wouldn't say that I was particularly good, necessarily. I mean, I was a fairly good pitcher. I'll give myself that. But, like, I don't know that I was great at volleyball, even though it was my favorite sport. Like, I don't, you know, yeah. So, on the hierarchy of things, there's obviously people more body smart than I am. Like, you know, Olympic athletes, whatever. But, yeah, in general, just in my own little world over here, I think I'm very body smart. I definitely think with my body. So there you go. I've got two strengths. I'm feeling better about life. Definitely word, definitely body. Some picture smart. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe a little twinge of logic smart, but I don't think a lot of that one. That's definitely like a weaker smart. What was the other one I've read so far? Oh, music. I've got a twinge of music smartness, I'd say. Not a lot, but a twinge. More than logic, probably. Moving on to the next one, though. Nature smart. Nature smart. I would say a little bit. That's what I say with all of them. But seriously, I could see a twinge in myself. Not a strength, not like word smart, but a twinge. Things I underlined. Nature smart children think with patterns. I don't do that. They want to go outside. I love being out of doors. They get joy from personally participating with nature somehow. Their power is observing patterns. I don't observe patterns. I don't believe that of myself. But, I do love being outdoors. Because they think with patterns, they notice shapes, sizes, colors, designs, and textures. They easily and naturally think with comparisons and contrasts. They tend to categorize easily. I don't think any of this is me. If they're also picture smart, they're stunned by the beauty of the night sky. I underlined this because it is so true, which lends me to believe I'm more picture smart than maybe I sometimes say that I am. But, like, if I go outside at night, I have to stop I have to stop moving altogether and just stare at the sky because it's amazing and the stars are ridiculous and I just can't help but stare at it. Did I underline anything else? I wasn't underlining a lot because I wasn't relating to some of the nature smart stuff, but anytime she talked about being out of doors, I was like, yes, please take me out of doors. Oh, I also underlined this massive passage here, which wasn't about nature smart, but actually about all the smarts and emotions. The way children are smart influences what they respond to emotionally and how they process all emotions. Word smart children will need to talk or write. Logic smart children will need questions answered as they try to make sense of things. Picture smart children may color and create. Music smart children will usually get lost in music that they create or listen to. Body smart children may want to be physically active and may want physical contact with you. Nature smart children may categorize by patterns and may want to spend their time outside. People smart children will want to talk with others. Self smart children will want to spend time alone with their thoughts and their feelings. From this list, just because I'm a very emotional human being and like borderline an empath, yeah, I'm I'm built on emotions. So from this specific list of like how you respond to emotions, word smart makes sense, talking and writing. Not logic smart. I don't need you to answer my questions. I don't want to talk about questions specifically. I just want to feel things. The picture smart, I don't really color and create when I'm emotional. Music smart, I do listen to music when I'm emotional. Being physically active, not so much, but I do like physical contact on the body smart emotion thing. I don't really feel the nature smart of, I don't need to be outside when I'm emotional. I want to be in my bed under my blankets when I'm emotional. People smart children will want to talk with others. Sometimes that's true, but it depends on, it's like very specific others, not just like anybody. Self smart children want to spend time alone with their thoughts and feelings. That's 100% correct. That's the whole list. There you go. I don't know if any of that was interesting, but you just get to see me process what I'm reading out loud.
Oh, come on.
Come on, come where? What are we doing? I'm checking to see if I underlined anything else in this chapter. I don't think I did, because I wasn't relating to it a whole lot. Nope, didn't.
Hi, duck.
Hi, duck. That is a duck.
Hi, duck.
And a hedgehog.
It's this house duck.
And that's
broken.
Yeah, it's not. Well, it is broken because it's a tea infuser. So it's pulled apart because it's not holding tea right now. I could put it back together.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened?
Nothing happened. I'm reading about smarts. Are you nature smart? You like to be outside?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Plus is a...
Oh, and you like to play with Ada the dog? Yeah. That sounds about right.
Come outside.
Oh, now we're gonna go outside. Okay, sure, let's do it. Guys, I am so people smart, it is kind of ridiculous. People smart children think with people. When they're excited, they talk more to people. They need people to listen to them, interact with them, and react to their ideas. I talk to myself and a camera constantly. They get joy from sharing what they know and from understanding people. Thinking by connecting is their power. Being people smart includes the definite strength of reading body language. These children know if someone is mad, glad, or sad. This is true. I can read people. For example, as some people smart children talk, they can discern listeners' reactions by observing changing facial expressions and body language. That is true. So true. What else did I highlight? The ability to interpret facial reactions, body language, and tone of voice stimulates thinking. Those of us who are people smart especially like bouncing ideas back and forth. We sometimes don't know if our ideas are good until we hear ourselves verbalize them and watch and hear someone respond. She talked about extroverted people smart people, and introverted people smart people. I'm definitely the introverted version. It's especially effective to allow these children to work with partners and complete projects with small groups. I highlighted that to say that I hate working in groups. In that regard, I don't relate at all. Group projects are the worst. People watch at the mall, at the basketball game, maybe during math class. People watch everywhere I go. People watching is great. People watching is the best. Oh, another thing that I don't know if it applies to me. Other children may want to be friends with your people smart daughter because of her natural leadership gifts and her willingness and ability to express compassion. The second half of that sentence, probably yes. I don't think I have leadership skills. What is this nonsense? People smart children can build consensus and increase peace. I would love if that was me. I don't know if it is, but I would love to say that that was me. They may instinctively know how to turn a conversation to spiritual things. That's another thing that I don't know that I do. Nope. People smart children may be drawn to service because they can often discern other people's needs. I would say that applies. Children can be people smart and introverted. This personality dimension causes children to gravitate toward their inner world. They are quiet, reflective thinkers. This is the part that I started highlighting a lot. They are fatigued by being with people and energized by being alone. There will be times when their introverted personality type will camouflage their people smart strengths. Second, it's possible to have both people smart and self-smart strengths. And I haven't read self-smart yet, but I 100% believe that I will have self-smart. So yes. So this section where she talked about the people smart, self-smart people who have both his strengths, like thinking deeply and needing quiet and privacy, and they don't necessarily need people to think with, but they can have people to think with. Some people smart children may connect better to Jesus Christ than to God the Father because Jesus seems more identifiable to them. This part is so true. I can't even begin to explain to you how true this is. Jesus and I hang out all the time, and sometimes I have to make a concerted effort to talk specifically to the Father or to the Holy Spirit because I don't know, they're just so vague, particularly the Holy Spirit. So I can relate to a father, right? And I can relate to my bro Jesus, but I don't know what to do with the Holy Spirit, which is interesting because like he's the one that's like actually here and hanging out with me, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do with you. Anyway, that line, I had to underline it. It was just, I was like, I feel so seen. Oh, this cracked me up. This felt like very ridiculous conservative. I don't mean that in a necessarily bad way. I mean, I kind of do. But, listen, I love this lady, Dr. Kathy. I don't know if she's a doctor. Is she a doctor? She has a PhD. That makes her a doctor, right? Anyway, really, really love her. Loved listening to her talk. I've been loving this book. It's all great stuff. But sometimes she just says things, like when she said to read the message. Sometimes she just says things that I'm like, okay. And this was one of those times. She was talking about people smart kids getting in trouble because of their people smarts. Like they talk to too many people or people they shouldn't or whatever. With this story. While parked in a lot, her daughter looked out the car window and talked with a couple. They were on motorcycles, dressed in full bike leather, and covered in tattoos. Her daughter had very little, if any, experience with people like this. People like this. But she immediately asked about their bikes, if they had grandkids, and how long they had married. Afterward, this mom talked with her daughter again about stranger danger. The idea that people smart children can get in trouble with their people smarts because they talk to people in situations that maybe they shouldn't, absolutely agree with. I just couldn't get over that specific example of people that you shouldn't talk to because I was like, what's wrong with people on motorcycles with tattoos? I don't understand. Whatever. I wrote in the book right next to it, I was like, oh no, not the tattoos! And that was the last thing that I annotated or highlighted in this particular book. Sorry, I just reached into my pocket and there was trash in there. Anyway, yeah, that was people smart. I'm definitely people smart, but also definitely the introverted version of people smart. I'm not like the charismatic, up on the stage, can move a whole room kind of people smart. But I can read people really, really well. I understand I get people. Yeah, 100%. And also, I like bouncing ideas. It's so helpful to be in a writing community now where I can, like, discuss what I'm writing and get immediate feedback. This is brilliant. Yeah. Definitely people smart, 100%. Word smart and people smart are like my top strengths, and then I'm like probably picture smart, a little bit of music smarts, kind of. Now on to the last one, which I 100% believe I will be, self-smart. Pretty sure, because in general I think I am self-smart, I just think I am. But reading the section about people smart children that are also self-smart children, I was like, I relate to all of this, so I expect to be self-smart. Okay, I finished the self-smart chapter, the last chapter of the book. Honestly, I can't decide if I am or I am not, which tells me it's not strength, because with the people smart one I was like, yep, 100%. The opening paragraph started with talking about how they like choice, and I was like, I do not. But then it said that choosing can be challenging because they process a million different things while trying to choose and it takes forever. So that relates, I guess. Self-smart children think with reflection deeply inside of themselves and relate learning to their lives. They need quiet, peace, privacy, and space. This is where I get a little like, how much of this is just my introverted nature, which is not the same as self-smart, and how much of this is like, maybe I am self-smart. I don't know. They get joy from knowing what they know. Their power is reflection and the knowing that comes with it. When studying and learning, self-smart children want to understand things in depth. They want to consider all their knowledge before answering questions. They want to get their answers right. All of this I relate to, but also it's not like emphatic, you know? I'm not like, yes! I'm just like, yeah, sure. More than other children, they want to sleep on their ideas. Because self-smart children know what they believe and why, they're usually able to stand up for their beliefs. I was underlining a lot on these pages, you guys. Self-smart children tend to be quiet, independent workers and thinkers. I would say yes, I am. They don't need others to help them know what they know. So in this is where I get a little of like, I agree with that, but also I did relate to the people smart of like talking things out with other people. I don't know. I can't decide if I'm both or not. They don't need to tell others what they know. In these ways, self-smart children and people-smart children are opposites. Self-smart children may describe themselves as loners, thinkers, quiet, aware, and careful. We're turning the page very carefully with one hand. Or not. Got it. They think deeply and privately and enjoy relating learning to their lives. Self-smart children know themselves well. They know their strengths and weaknesses. They know what ticks them off, turns them on, calms them down. I would say yes. They know what interests them, what they like, what they want, what they need. They're able to use this self-understanding to guide and enrich their lives. Self-smart children need to be alone with their thoughts. I would say yes. I think all the time. But also I think by talking, so I don't know. They don't want or need lots of input and prefer to think alone with the information they have. People can distract them. I do find that to be true. I like studying alone. But is that just my word smarts? I don't know, you guys. I don't know about this one. Self-smart children often have excellent insights because of their deep and wide thinking. I would not say that about myself. I don't know. People may think they're disinterested, too quiet, standoffish, and prideful. I have had people feel that way about me. Growing up, when I was a kid, a lot of the children in my circle thought that I was scary. And then they got to know me and were like, nope, you're just a normal person. They may balk at participating in activities that they believe have no personal benefit. I do relate to that. If I don't think I'm going to get anything out of it, I don't really want to do things with people, like, ever. Random example. So I teach, I counsel at church camp every summer. And on the first night, when just the counselors are there, they do, like, bonding games and things and whatever. I never feel the need to go down for the game bonding time. I instead spend that time up in the dorms alone by myself, reading my Bible, doing some journaling, and like preparing myself for the week that's coming. I don't find the bonding games with the other counselors a helpful way to prepare for the exhausting week that is coming. I want to be by myself and with Jesus and just like doing my own thing. So in that way, I feel like that would make me self-smart. I don't know. Self-smart children prefer careers they can do alone. Being self-employed and doing something they have great passion for may be an excellent fit. Hello, I'm an author. I don't make enough money to like have it be my full-time career yet, but that's the plan. They might become private investigators or writers. What? Because they're in touch with their own thoughts and feelings, they may be able to help others get in touch with theirs. I'd like to think so. Many self-smart children appear to be shy and quiet, especially when they're in crowds and with a new group of peers. This is true of me 100%, but, giant but, I also have a lot of social anxiety, which I think skews this variable a little bit. Just a little bit. Self-smart children usually think of themselves and their own ideas before they think of others. They think deeply inside of themselves about those ideas, so they're often quiet even when in groups. They also like being alone. I do, 100%. Peers may find their quiet and deep thinking intimidating or confusing. That, I think, might have been part of the... Hi, Bubs. Like, kids growing up with thinking I was scary. Self-smart children benefit from knowing that God knows their thoughts. Many children with self-smart children have deep connections with God. This is the part that's like all about Jesus. I don't know how many of you are interested in that, but I was still highlighting everything. Also, my arm hurts, so I'm talking too much. Self-smart children prefer studying scripture and spiritual books during quiet times rather than family devotions. Growing up, this was true, 100%. I didn't dislike our family devotions per se, but I definitely preferred being alone. Self-smart children may enjoy journaling, their thoughts and prayers. You guys, I have so many journals you don't even want to know. Actually, when I moved to this house, I lost a box of my journals, and it was tragic, and I'm still upset about it. The disciples of silence and meditation will also appeal to them 100%. My hour-long prayer wheel, the meditation, quiet time thing is like my favorite thing ever. I don't do it often enough, but it's so good when I do. Self-smart children can be very independent and are often content being alone. Yes. Therefore, they can become self-centered. I hope not. Many self-smart children value self-discipline. They develop high standards for this. This is so true. I relate to this so hard. They develop high standards for them. Well, hold on. What's up, Bubby? Got a bit distracted by the children. It's now been 3 hours since I was last videoing. I have no idea what I was saying. But I think I've come around, over the past 3 hours of thinking about it. I don't think I'm very self-smart. I think I have some in the, like, I like to journal, I do like to do, like, reading and learning on my own, but I do process things through people with my people smarts. I do a lot of that. It makes things complicated that I'm introverted, because a lot of the introverted things seem to parallel self-smart, but I think the biggest thing is that I don't necessarily process what I'm learning and process my life by myself. I process through talking to people. So I guess I've come around to not being self-smart, or at least not a lot self-smart, maybe a little bit, but not as much as I was thinking. And that's it. That's the end of the book. So what I got from this is I am extremely people smart, very word smart, which makes sense. Some picture smarts. There's like a twinge of music smarts. And a twinge, maybe possibly of self smarts. Maybe some nature smarts. I feel like I don't use a lot of my smarts apart from the word smarts and the people smarts on a regular basis, which is why they're just like little twinges. Like with my music smarts, I like curate playlists for myself with my writing, and I'll like have little dance parties on my own in my bedroom, but that's about it. Like I don't play the piano that often, I don't pull out my flute very often, like I'm not working those smarts on a regular basis, which is why I would say they're just a twinge. Yeah. What was the other thing? I'm missing something. Body smart? I don't remember if I was body smart or not. I don't think there was a lot of body smartness. Technically speaking, you have, you know, all 8 of them up there in your brain. It's just the ones that are stronger or used. You know, it's like stretching muscles, I guess. I don't know. How much of it is like, you know, you're naturally gifted in certain smarts, and then how much is like, let's get into the nature-nurture conversation, shall we? No, let's not. Anyway, this was a really fun read, and I really enjoyed it. I don't really have anything else to say about it. So there you go. Self-smart. Word smart.